What's up, Crossbones Nation? It's Saturday. It's time for 5 rounds with John and Eddie. I'm John Galloway. He's Eddie Law. Before we get into the show today, let's talk about some of the companies that hook us up, so we want to help hook them up. Number one is Troxafen. Troxafen is a testosterone booster for men that will increase your energy, boost your free testosterone, which is going to help you build lean muscle and burn body fat, but it's designed specifically for guys. If you are interested in looking for some way or a way of boosting your natural testosterone levels, go to Troxafen.com. If you're looking for other supplements, or if you're a female, you can check out TrueDerma.com. That's the parent company. And on there, they have a whole bunch of different types of supplements that'll help you achieve all your fitness goals, whether it's losing weight, whether it's building muscle, whether it's improving your energy, a whole bunch of different things. So check out Troxafen.com and TrueDerma.com for all your supplement needs. If you're looking for food, you can check out F3 Foods and the Get Fit program by going to CrossbonesMMA.com and clicking on the banner. What that is a subscription-based meal plan where you go online to their menu, you click on the meals that you want, and they'll send it to you in pre-packaged meal packets. That way when you get it, you throw it in your fridge or in your freezer. When you're ready to eat, you just take one out, pop it in the microwave, pop it in the oven, pop it in the toaster oven, whatever you use to heat up your food, and within 10 minutes, the food's ready for you and it's good for you. And that's the important thing. A lot of people have a hard time with their diet when it comes to getting into better shape or losing weight, and this is the way to do it. Just by simply signing up for the Get Fit program, you're able to make sure that all your food needs are taken care of. It takes all the guesswork out of making sure that it's good for you, that it's in the right proportions. It's all taken care of. So go to the F3 Foods, the Get Fit program on CrossbonesMMA.com, and you'll be able to sign up for that. While you're there, if you see the Amazon.com link, make sure you click on that for all your online shopping needs. So if you go online, you shop for music, you shop for books, you shop for clothes, anything that you can buy online, you can get at Amazon.com. If you do the Amazon.com portal on the Crossbones MMA website, what happens is it's going to cost you the same amount of money. So if something was going to cost you $10, it's still going to cost you $10. But instead of Amazon making $8 off of your purchase, they're only going to make $7.50 because they're going to kick us the other 50 cents. So it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out. So help out the webpage, help out the podcast, and do all your online shopping through the Amazon.com portal on CrossbonesMMA.com. But we got a whole bunch of things to talk about today before we get Eddie out of here and on his way to World Series of Fighting 19 tonight. We're going to talk about how Anthony Pettis wants to fight Nate Diaz. Nova União founder says that without PEDs, MMA would be unspectacular. Dana White has said on the world tour that he's doing that he is spending more money promoting the Aldo McGregor fight than any other fight in the history of the UFC. Is it worth it? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Brendan Schaub is finally moving down to light heavyweight. We'll talk about possible opponents for him to face now that he's down there. And following Bellator's results, we're also going to talk about whether a scream or a yell constitutes a verbal tap, as what happened last night at Bellator. So without any further delay, let's welcome in Eddie. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Busted noses, garbage-ass allergies. It's getting hot as shit in Arizona, and I'm exhausted from working out. But it is all going to be okay, because in a matter of hours, I will be cage-side at World Series of Fighting 19, starting with the prelims, and, of course, ending with the co-main and main event, watching Thiago Silva and Matt Hamill battle it out again, this time in a different promotion. And, of course, Justin Gaethje taking on Palomino tonight in the, I believe, lightweight title fight. It's going to be a sick-ass fucking night, dude. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely jealous that you're going. You know, I mean, I love going to any type of live MMA event, but when you get an event, and, you know, let's be honest, World Series of Fighting is not the biggest one out there. You know, they're one of the up-and-comers. They're, you know, financially, you know, walking a very thin line right now. But still, they're going to put on a better production than most regionals. It won't be as good as the UFC and, you know, some of the bigger ones, but, you know, you're getting a chance to see some big names, some good names get in there and showcase their talents and their skills. It's a great way to spend a Saturday night, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, man. And again, it's I don't know. I love MMA so much that I go to any friggin' any fight really. Like, unfortunately, I didn't make it to Friday night's World Fighting Federation out in Glendale, Arizona, right next to where the Cardinals play, over at Westgate. If you're familiar with Phoenix, but one of my friends' buddies won his fight via TKO. And I was waiting to get the video off of that, so I was pretty sick. But no, you know what, man? It's you can't ever put down any promotion, no matter how big or small, because those guys that get in the cage still put 100 and fucking everything percent into everything they do. For them, that's the big show. So I like to I put a lot. I give those guys a lot of respect, man, because that's you're putting your body, no matter how big or small the show is, you're still putting your body and your heart out there, and that's something I can always get behind.
Yeah, they definitely are, and you know what? I like going to the regionals because these guys will eventually move on. I mean, I remember watching guys like Steve Montgomery and in small venues, guys like the Spaniard, I can't think of his last name, Charles, and I'm totally blanking here, but I saw him at a regional show, Cage Fury Fighting Championship in like Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and he was in the UFC. So you never know who you're going to see. You could be looking at, the next Conor McGregor coming up, fighting in a regional circuit. These guys got to start somewhere. They all started somewhere. So absolutely go out and support your local MMA, regional MMA. It's a good time. And you know what? The rules are somewhat different sometimes, but they might be modified for amateurs or pro-am status, but, it's always an awesome, awesome time. But let's talk about some of the professionals that are out there, and one of them is Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis just suffered a complete beatdown from RDA, losing his belt. But now he's coming out and he's saying that he would like to face Nate Diaz as his next opponent. When I mentioned that to you, you had some interesting, an interesting reaction to that. So, what do you think about him wanting to fight Nate Diaz?
Um, it's ridiculous right now. Like, here's the thing: the only reason I find it ridiculous is RDA outstruck the crap out of him. So you want to get in there with a guy who strikes and is a killer on the ground? Sure, not a great showing against RDA, and RDA just demolished the hell out of Nate, out of Nate Diaz. And Anthony Pettis does have leg kicks that are pretty damn good. But I'm not saying he can't beat Nate Diaz. That's absolutely not what I'm saying at all. I am saying you don't want to get in there with Nate Diaz and risk losing, and then move further down the ladder. Now, sure, maybe he's looking at a big profile fight to get back to a title shot as fast as possible, but I don't think Nate Diaz is it. So no, if I'm him, I don't know. I think I take a little bit of a break. I heal up. I don't open my mouth for anything, and then once he's healthy and he's been training for a while again and he's ready to come back, maybe take on Nate Diaz. Maybe take on I'm blanking so hard. Maybe because he's maybe a cowboy. Whether depending on if he beats Khabib or not. Look, I think this. If Cowboy loses to Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think you make that Pettis Cowboy rematch. If it's the other way around, I think you go Pettis Khabib. Khabib was talking shit about Pettis for the longest time. I think that's the fight you want to make if you want to get back to a title shot. I think that maybe Anthony Pettis believes that he can run or walk over Nate Diaz like it's nothing, and that's absolutely not true. Nate Diaz fought at like 20 or 30% last time he fought against RDA. If you believe what the Diaz brothers are saying about that, and if I'm Pettis, I do not want to fight a fully healthy, fully trained Nate Diaz because that is one of the scariest dudes in the lightweight division.
Yeah, and I don't understand this call out. I really don't. With the loss, he didn't drop. He went from champion to the #1 contender. He's the #1 ranked lightweight out there. You got Nurmagomedov behind him, Cerrone, Melendez, Henderson, Johnson, Barboza, Jury, Thompson, Alvarez, Green, Miller, Ferguson, Masvidal, and Iaquinta. Diaz isn't even ranked. Why would you call out an unranked guy? Call out Benson Henderson. Call out Michael Johnson. Call out, Edison Barboza. You don't want to fight Khabib? Fine. Donald Cerrone? Fine. You don't want to fight Gilbert again because you just fought him one fight previous? Fine. But call out a guy that's in the top 10 at least. Don't call out a guy that's unranked right now. This to me is, I think what he's doing here is he saw Dos Anjos pick him apart with leg kicks, and he thinks it would be an easy fight. I think that he's looking for the path of least resistance, get that next fight, and start to build back. The thing with Anthony Pettis is, one fight, one win, and he's going to be right there with that, with that title shot, being prepared for him. So I think he's looking for the path of least resistance by going outside of the top 15. But that to me is just silly because A, it's really not a showcase of your talent. B, if you do lose that fight, you're fucked at that point. What happens? You're going to drop to number 10? Give me a break. This to me was just a bad call out. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what the circumstances were around this call out, why he decided he wanted to say he would be interested in getting in the cage with Nate. But to me, this is just a bad choice of words, a bad choice of a possible opponent, and by putting that out there, it just makes you look like you're looking for an easy fight. And I'd like to believe that a former champion and current number one ranked fighter like Anthony Pettis is not just looking for easy wins. I want to believe that these guys are looking to test themselves against the best in the world at all times.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I mean, but I have, and again, people are going to be calling me a Diaz fanboy, and maybe I am, but I just do not believe that, that anybody, calling out Nate Diaz is doing anything smart. Yeah, you're disrespecting Nate Diaz. That's all you're really doing by suggesting that he's a low-level fight. He's absolutely not. All right, get him. I will say this: RDA is super skilled. I will not say he was lucky to beat Nate Diaz because he definitely beat the crap out of him. But if Nate Diaz is 100%, I think that fight is way more competitive than it was. And you got to hand it to Diaz, one of the toughest dudes out there. He didn't quit. He kept going even with one leg. So, look, if Anthony Pettis wants to call Nate Diaz, fine, but he better hope that he's not in there with 100% Nate Diaz because if he might not beat Anthony Pettis. All right, but he's gonna make him work for that win for sure. And just like you said, so should Nate Diaz beat him? Look, this whole situation, if they make Pettis Diaz, the only one winning here is Diaz, win or lose, because Diaz is not gonna quit. He's not. I don't think he gets finished against Anthony Pettis. And should Diaz win, imagine what that does for him. He gets into that top 10 talk, and a couple more fights, maybe a title shot. And it might just, it might be what Diaz needs to bring his career back up to relevancy. So, I mean, maybe Anthony Pettis is talking, maybe someone's talking in his ear. Maybe he'll get a couple wins and then move up, whatever. It's weird. The other thing too is it was right after the fight with RDA that Nate Diaz was talking shit about Anthony Pettis. So, Pettis might just be talking shit at this point. But if he's serious about that Nate Diaz fight, man, I'm telling you right now, Diaz will show up because that doesn't just talk shit. He backs it up. And Pettis better hope that Diaz isn't 100% because if he doesn't beat him, he's definitely going to put a hurting on him. And not to mention, Pettis has a busted eye socket or whatever it was, our orbital bone. He needs to chill out and heal up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And part of the thing with with that fight and that being the call out that he's doing is, and let me take a step back before I go with that thought. I am not at all suggesting that Nate Diaz is an easy out or an easy fight for anybody. I think he's one of the most skilled fighters out there. But just in terms of ranking, and I know that the rankings are bullshit. I know they don't mean anything because you're seeing people that are ranked 6 getting title shots. You're seeing it's not a true ranking system. It's not by any means, there for anything other than, the casual fans just think, they're seeing a more exciting fight because this guy's ranked 3rd and this guy's ranked 2nd. But, for me, I think for Pettis, he needs to challenge himself with somebody, maybe like a Diaz, who's gonna strike. Maybe in his mind, he might be saying, you know what? I got destroyed by a striker. I mean, like we've said, the eye injury could definitely have played a huge portion of that. But maybe he's trying to figure out who is most similar to RDA in the amount of strikes, the pressure that can be put on, the technical striking that he displayed, maybe he's like, you know what, that's what I have to beat in order to get back there. And maybe he's actually thinking Diaz is the one that has those skills, that skill set to make that happen. So, like I said, I'm not sure what the circumstances were surrounding the call out, but hey, you never know. This could be, could be a fight, and I guarantee that's going to be that would be a big draw. That's definitely, a headline for a Fox Sports 1 card, a big Fox card. It's definitely, up there on a pay-per-view, but that would be a great fight. It would be exciting, but I think in that situation, it's a win-win for Diaz, and it's really kind of a no-win for Pettis, because if he beats him, people are going to say he was supposed to. If he loses to him, it hurts him worse than it would have helped him. So you got to be careful when you're calling out who your opponents are and who you think they might or who you think you might want to fight. But that's a rough one.
Yeah, and I agree. And actually, we have a couple tweets on this one. One of the guys, one of my boys follows both Crosswinds and myself as well. Sean Paul Cunningham says, being Showtime is far from humble. I think Nate will humble him with a punch to the mouth. Like I said, he has a good point. I think that could definitely happen. The other thing I was thinking too is, what was I thinking? Damn, now my brain's kind of blanked out. Whatever. But again, Nate Diaz at 100%. And you're fighting a striker. You just lost against a striker. And you're hurt and your ego's bruised. Maybe chill out and think about what you're saying first. I will say this: if Dana White offers Nate Diaz this fight, he can't sign that contract fast enough. Big ass payday, and if he beats Pettis, just launches them up the ranks into relevancy for sure. So Pettis needs to I think he needs to chill out. But it is Showtime. Pettis, who's not humble at all, just like Sean was saying, and you can't, as a fighter, you got to stay confident as hell as much as possible. Also, real quick, it just dawned on me, the Spaniard's name is Charlie Brenneman.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Because you know what? That's one of those things that's been floating around in the back of my mind trying to figure it out. And in like 4 hours, I would have remembered it and not had anything to say about it. So I appreciate that.
I remember because every time I see that dude fight, I'm like, you look nothing like a Spaniard. What the hell like? But
he's a good fighter though. I do like him.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you this: did we ever find out what Nate's injury was that they said he had going into his fight with RDA?
I never saw anything on it. I mean, if anyone talked about it, which like the Diaz brothers won't really ever say, in their camp, he's not, they don't make habits of making excuses or anything. They just mentioned it like, hey, or in fact, it was Nick that mentioned it. Nate didn't even say it. Nick was the one that said that my brother was out there, 40%, so I'm really proud of him. That's literally all he said. I'm sure people asked him what the injury was or what the issue was, but, I think Nate said himself that he had a kind of a crappy camp and all that. So, I don't think anyone saw what the injury was, but if I had to say, from watching it, he wasn't moving as well as usual, so maybe like a leg injury of some sort, but I'm not 100% sure.
Right, and the reason that I asked that is, do we have any kind of timetable for, Nate's return? We haven't really heard his name. We haven't seen his name being tossed in there with any other fighters. This is actually the first time we've heard his name is when Anthony called him out. So I'm curious if there is a time frame for his return.
If your last name is Diaz and you're a UFC fighter, you fight whenever the fuck you feel like fighting, basically. It's never. That's one thing you gotta. I appreciate about the Diaz brothers is that they dictate what they want to do. Does it, kind of hinder their ability to make a lot of money? Yeah, they're not Cowboy Cerrone who's gonna fight on 2 weeks' notice every month, but they do say, my way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it when I feel like doing it. And Dana White's always said he's not gonna make anybody fight. I'm sure he calls those guys all the time. Maybe not Nick so much these days because he's in a little bit of trouble, but I'm sure he calls Nate all the time, like, hey, you want this fight? And Nate's like, nah, whatever. And so those guys fight whenever they feel like it. And that's just the Diaz brothers for you.
So kind of on a segue there from what you just said, and it's going to segue into our next topic anyway. What are your thoughts on Nick Diaz hiring a lawyer for irregularities in the testing? What are you hearing on this?
You know what? I don't even know what to make of it. When I heard, look, okay, let's back up a little bit. They have increased the threshold for marijuana metabolites in your blood when you test, right? And
Right.
Nick Diaz not only took advantage of it, he blew past it like a Lamborghini racing a Prius on one wheel and 3 flat tires. Like that's how crazy he destroyed those limits on the marijuana metabolites in your blood. So I mean, damn. Like I almost think he might have fought high, or he might have gotten high the day of the fight. I'm not even sure. Like that was just the weirdest thing. But so I was kind of surprised when I heard that he hired a lawyer. I think, look, man, whenever your money is in question, whenever they might try to fine you a bunch of money and suspend you for a long time, you got to do what you can to kind of save your ass. So it's to me, it sounds like more of a protocol thing to do. But yeah, dude, I have no idea what to make of it. I didn't read anything about it. I didn't hear anyone talking about it really. I kind of read one article on it that just mentioned it. But both Diaz and Anderson Silva are kind of lawyering up. But Diaz has always been kind of anti-establishment, kind of always saying going against the grain, going against the rules, not the rules, but going against the rules too, but going against like the people, the powers that be. So I think it's just protocol. He's got to do it to kind of save his ass, or at least at the very least lower down the suspension that for sure is coming for him, and the fine that for sure is coming for him. So it's all to kind of just lessen the blow and kind of help him keep as much money as he can, because he did make a pretty good boatload of money on that fight.
Oh, I'm sure he did. It's just I wonder if there was some kind of irregularity that that led to it. Was the testing not done correct? Like it's very interesting. Very interesting to me how how the testing procedure goes down, because if he's saying that and it comes out that there was some kind of irregularity with the testing procedure that night, maybe he doesn't get paid, maybe he doesn't get fined. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens there. But the segue there for this is the founder of Nova União has come out and said that without PEDs, MMA would be an unspectacular sport to watch. Basically, saying that these guys, most of these guys are on PEDs. That's what makes this sport so spectacular to watch, so exciting to see. What do you think about that?
Man, you damn well know Jose Aldo texted his boy over there talking all that crap. Like, hey man, maybe we need to shut the hell up. Have you heard? I don't know if you heard or not, but I'm on this world tour, and Conor McGregor keeps talking shit about me being on PEDs. Maybe you need to tone it down a little bit. On the other hand, he's absolutely right. I mean, some of the shit we saw in so many UFC pay-per-views and cards and all that, and in fact, in other cards for other organizations, was some crazy psycho freaking power shit. So, yeah, PEDs have made things exciting. They made baseball exciting. I mean, look, when was the last time that you actually paid attention to baseball in such a way that you did when Sosa and McGwire were in their home run race, or when Barry Bonds was going for his, for the record and that he actually got, but there's a little asterisk next to it? Or when was baseball ever talked about as much as when A-Rod admitted that he was taking steroids and then ended up getting popped for it again anyway? Like, he doesn't give a shit. He does it anyway. So it brings the word steroids is like a big red letter, or big red letter word. So, I mean, did it make MMA exciting? Does it make MMA exciting? Look, man, if you got two Supermen going in there throwing down, you're gonna see some crazy shit, and that's gonna make a lot of guys, a lot of things exciting. But look again, and I keep saying it. And the hit the ball with the stick game, right away. Okay, I will watch if they're power bombing, baseballs out of the stadium every time they go up to the plate, any day. But in a sport where you're throwing bones at someone's face and you can literally kill them, in some way, somehow you could kill them, by being like a superhuman, and they might not be completely clean, or you're both on steroids. It's too damn touchy a thing to allow it. Now, again, like I said, he's got a point. PEDs have made MMA, spectacular, but it's just not safe, and it's not honest, really. It's not, if you're into morals and all that and ethics, it's not an honest thing to do to be roided up and then go in there against someone that doesn't know you're roided up or might not be roided up themselves, and then you put a beat down on them. I mean, look at Hector Lombard. He could play like he didn't know what he was doing, but he damn well knew what he was doing. There's no way he didn't know.
Yeah, and here's the quote. It says, "If the UFC wants the best show and the guy is juiced, you will have the best show of your life. If it's a sport and everyone is clean, maybe people won't be jumping out of their seats and cheering. I'm not saying it's the right to do it. I'm against it, but everybody knows that if a guy is not under the effect of any substances, he will not perform as well as an athlete who is. It's a very tricky moment to figure out what path to take. Guys who use it don't say they do. Sometimes I watch interviews and there's some guys bashing steroids, and I know they take them. It's complicated. If you're in this game and going down that path, you know you're taking a chance. Sometimes a guy is injured, and even doctors tell them to take something in order to heal faster. And then that guy is randomly tested and gets caught. So we need to consider all that before we crucify somebody." So here's my thing based on that. So he says he's not encouraging PED use, but he's also putting little nuggets out there saying that these guys are coming out bashing it, but I know that they're using it. One of the staunchest bashers of this was Anderson Silva recent. And he's also putting things out there like, hey, even some of these guys' doctors are telling them in order to heal faster, which is exactly what Anderson Silva is now claiming that, in order to heal faster, he was taking something. And, so it's funny to me how it's such a prevalent part of MMA. It's a banned part of MMA, but it goes on so much that it's the quote-unquote epidemic that mixed martial arts is facing right now with PEDs. Now, when you have a guy who's one of the founders of one of the best fight camps in the world saying, I see guys use it all the time, maybe it's time that the gyms need to step up and start patrolling this and policing this a little bit more. It's even that though is a very tricky situation, because if their guys are clean and they're losing to other guys' gym, another guy from another gym who isn't clean, their gym looks bad. So it's a very, very tricky situation, and I'm not really sure what the path is here, what the course of action to take is. But it's curious to me when you get somebody who's so high up and well respected in the industry of coaching and producing championship fighters. When he says that I see guys all the time on it, and it's not always what everybody thinks.
Yeah, man. You know what it sounds to me like? It sounds to me like that's one guy who like they asked him a question, he decided to try and answer it, but he didn't really know what to say. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of just talking out his ass.
I've thought about that, but I'm also curious, and something that I thought about was, I wonder if he is laying the groundwork for future excuses for guys out of Nova União. And I'm not saying anything on I'm not saying that any of those guys are juiced or anything like that, but maybe he's laying the groundwork here for some of his own guys. If they were to come up with a failed test, that he's already ahead of the game, saying, you know what, his doctors were telling him to use it. It's curious why he went on the record saying these things with really nobody else out there aside from Jose Aldo really in the spotlight right now. So it is a curious state of what why he said this and the timing of why he said it.
You know what? And yeah, it's true. And again, that's why I was saying that that Jose Aldo for sure is like, dude, shut the fuck up about PEDs, man. I'm out here doing a world tour, press tour. The hell are you doing? For sure, Jose Aldo texted that dude like, hey, man, you need to just shut up. When we talking right now, I'm out here. Conor McGregor is out loud saying that I'm on roids and I'm juiced up and all that. So yeah, it's weird. And look, I'm gonna show you this real quick. And I know I'm kind of screen sharing the Hangout right now, but it's for some reason it's not letting me just go straight to the other one. This guy, you see him?
Yep.
On the left side, on the right side of Anderson Silva, that's his trainer. That's his supplement guy That guy's 60, I think 60 some years old. Okay, when I'm 60 years old, whatever that guy's taking, I'm fucking taking. Okay, difference is I'm not fighting nobody. Okay. Oh, hold up. This thing decided it's weird. Anyway, so except the difference is I'm not fighting any. Wow, I'm like screen sharing this shit. Google
Hold on,
Hangouts, ladies and gentlemen. This is oh, there we
there
go.
you go.
Anyway,
You should be
so yeah, that's all weird. Anyway, regardless, you know, it's just weird. It's weird that that Nova Union's coming out and even saying anything about it. Just chill out with the roids thing and wait till after Jose Aldo does or doesn't piss hot before you make any excuses. But you know, it's I don't know. It's so weird, man. I find it really hard that in martial arts and you know, which is something supposed to be very honorable, very honest, we find a lot of people that aren't in it. So it's I don't know. It's weird. I really hope that, like, for example, I don't know about you, but like, for example, UFC 184 the piss test, the drug test just came back. Everybody was clean, right? I am hoping to everybody. And so many people are like crossing their fingers. Please, 185, come back clean. We do not need RDA to come back popping hot for anything, you know. So it really blows that every fan has to think this way about every single card, and that we have to suspect every single fighter of being on something. So you know, until these, you know, these new testing or these new punishments that the UFC is saying they're gonna dole out actually take effect, you know, we're gonna question everybody, man. We definitely are. And Jose Aldo right now on the spotlight, and his coaches came out and said some, you know, said a bunch of stuff about PEDs make the sport exciting. And so now it's I guarantee he gets a few questions about that in the next couple stops in his little world tour that he's doing.
Yeah, and speaking of the little world tour, let's talk about that, because Dana White has come out and said that the UFC is spending more money on promoting the Jose Aldo Conor McGregor fight than any other fight in the history of the organization. Do they really need to? What do you think?
You know what? This fight sells itself, all right? And it has most of the credit is going to go to Conor McGregor. First of all, I don't know why Jose Aldo hasn't paid somebody to teach him English or buy Rosetta Stone or something. Put some effort to it. Most of the media you're going to face speaks English, right? You know, but Conor McGregor is doing a phenomenal job of promoting this fight. Now, the World Tour, I'm sure, you know, costs a crap load of money. Commercials are out there, posters. You know, I don't know what else, you know, what else you could possibly pay for, but you know, does it need it? No. Does it come with the territory? Absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, have you heard of that? If that card's like sold out yet? Because I heard there's like 2 cards already that are sold out that are coming up like months from now.
I'm not 100% sure if it is sold out yet, but it's definitely. I think there's no doubt that that card does sell out. That fight does sell out. You know, when that happens. But you know, I think, like you were saying, that Conor McGregor is going to sell this fight all by himself. You know, they really don't need. Think about this. That fight is what, June 11th? Is that, or is it July 11th? June 11th.
I don't know. Either one doesn't matter. Just like months from now, a couple months.
Exactly. It's months from now. We've already started seeing the embedded videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that happens usually fight week. This is months out of the fight, and they're already promoting it like crazy. What's going to happen the closer and closer we get to this? Are they in danger of kind of like the whole thing that happened with John Jones and Daniel Cormier, building it too much, and then there's a little bit of a lull and it loses some of it? Should they have waited till they were 3 months out, you know, to maybe start this tour? I understand at that point you really can't. It's more, you know, of a training thing, because those guys are both in training camp right now. They're not, you know, in camp preparing for the fight, so it's a timing thing. But they're really out there pushing this fight, and then there's going to be a little bit of a lull going forward after this little media tour. So I'm curious if they're going to, you know, why they're trying to hype this up as much as they are right now, when there's other events between now and then that they could be hyping up as much, or, you know, hyping up in order to build it, and then build that fight through advertising during, you know, these other shows. You know, it's curious. Like, they have the show coming up in Krakow, Poland. They have other events happening. I'm not seeing anything promoting that, but I'm seeing an embedded tour for Aldo McGregor, which isn't happening until the middle of the summer. It's just a little crazy to me that they're pushing this when you know that, like I said, Conor McGregor would push this fight all by himself. But what I will say is I'm kind of entertained by the fact that now it seems Jose Aldo is starting to react a little bit to him. In the past, Jose Aldo did not react to anybody. Even when Conor McGregor jumped the cage and got in his face, he just sat there and smiled. But you can see now that Conor's getting under his skin a little bit, that he's starting to, get little reactions out of him. I'm curious if maybe this is going to be an edge towards Conor going into the fight, because now the head games are starting to kick in. And will Jose Aldo know how to handle that?
He's a champ. He's the only featherweight champ the UFC has ever had. He's defeated think of it this way. Other than the very first fight that he had in there, I think to win the belt, or I don't know if they just gave it to him, I don't remember, but every fight that he's had since he got the belt is a title defense. All right? Every single one. This is not going to bother Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo is a scary, scary dude. This is just, I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White went up to Jose Aldo at some point and said, hey, man, Conor's doing all the talking. You need to do something about it. And it was definitely adamant in New York, because New York came out and was cheering Conor McGregor like no other. And so Jose Aldo knows for sure he needs to start, talking right back to him and trying to hype up the fight even more. This could go down as possibly the highest pay-per-view or most grossing pay-per-view that the UFC's done ever, maybe. And think of it this way: it's on Saturday, July 11th. Okay, there's only 2 fights official for that card: Aldo McGregor and Lawler McDonald. All right, and it's ridiculous. Let me see. I'm looking at the tickets go on sale. They're already on sale. The pre-sale's already on. Looks like already on. And the public on sale went live on March 27th, which is Friday. So let me see if there's even any tickets available on it. I highly doubt it. If people didn't buy them outright, a bunch of those websites that triple the freaking value of each ticket bought a bunch of them for sure. But
I'm pretty sure I saw something about 88 and 89 being sold out already. So this fight is gonna do incredible things. It's gonna be a record-breaking event, no doubt. Now, they're all at some point. Do you think they're going to promote Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler on this card as well, or are they just going to be on the card as an afterthought behind, Aldo and McGregor?
I'll tell you what, if the unlucky thing happens and either McGregor or Aldo get hurt, they're going to be hyping up Lawler and McDonald real freaking heavy. I mean, ridiculously heavy. They should be promoting both fights, but they're not. I think they're going to wait a little longer to start promoting Lawler and McDonald a lot more. And so, I don't know. I wish I was a marketing guru to figure out what the hell Dana White and those guys are thinking. But I don't know. It just has to be that they're trying to make 189 like the highest selling pay-per-view ever for the UFC anyway. So promote your 2 biggest stars. Jose Aldo, could be pound for pound the best in the world, and Conor McGregor is Chael Sonnen as a featherweight, but possibly funnier.
Yeah, and it's very easy to say that that as far as the UFC goes, this is possibly one of the biggest payouts that they're ever going to make as well. Conor's out there saying that he's making over $7 million for this fight. Do you believe that?
I don't not believe it. I guess I'm not saying that seven. It's possible, man. Again, Chael Sonnen was making super bank on that on fighting, and he wasn't even like the best in the middleweight division, but he talked his way into big time payouts. Michael Bisping is one of the highest paid guys in the UFC, so I'm getting presented.
Sorry, I clicked on something.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just making sure. No, I'm just making sure everything's good. I'm making sure I didn't click some shit. Anyway, so wow, my brain's all messed up. But anyway, as we know now, in MMA as a whole, if you know how to promote yourself, you're definitely going to be making a lot of money. Ronda Rousey doesn't have to promote herself with by her talking, although she does great on that. She doesn't have to promote herself on how hot she is, but she does a great fucking job on that. People tune in to watch her fight. People tune in to watch girls take a shot at beating her. And at this point, she's making a ton of money on anything. Again, there was a big story after 184 saying that Kat Zingano made more than Rousey. You might want to look at the pay-per-view points after that, because there's no way she even touched Rousey's salary for that fight. But yeah, I don't know, man. But again, if you know how to promote yourself and you got the skills to back it up, you're gonna be making some bank, man.
Yeah, and she just renewed her contract over there with the UFC. Signed an extension, and that'll keep her active with the UFC for a while. Not that I could ever see Ronda ever going to another organization. I mean, could you imagine her fighting outside of the UFC ever in her career?
No, when Ronda leaves the UFC, it's over. She'll be done. There's no way. There's no need. I don't know why. I'm not gonna lie. After this fight with Bethe Correia, unless Cyborg, who by the way, everyone's talking about it, she's signed by the UFC like it's breaking news. No, it's been known for a while that Cyborg was signed by the UFC on loan to Invicta. They just didn't put it out there in pressers because they know all these morons that call themselves the MMA media are gonna come out and be like, oh, so when are you gonna make Cyborg Ronda? When fucking Cyborg hasn't proven that she makes 135, So that's the next fight. Once Ronda rolls through Bethe Correia like she's going to, because apparently you can get a title shot by beating Shayna Baszler these days, and we just saw her the other day unfortunately get the crap kicked out of her. So once Ronda destroys Bethe Correia, if they make that Cyborg Rousey fight, once Ronda beats Cyborg, and the people are gonna be like, oh, she's not gonna do it. Cyborg's too good. I'll say it right now. Why don't you go watch Cyborg's fights? She comes out sloppy as shit. Why don't you watch some of Rousey's fights? Sharp, on point, quick, fast, deliberate, angry as hell. Angry but focused, okay? Cyborg comes out and just wails, and then once she hurts you, then she wants to come in and do something. So stop hyping up Cyborg. She might have the best chance to beat Ronda Rousey. She's not going to do it. So once Ronda Rousey beats Cyborg, if that fight ever happens, I'm still not convinced Cyborg gets 135, mark it right there, Ronda Rousey will retire. And she won't go anywhere else. She'll just be gone to make movies, make millions of dollars being hot and acting on stuff. And then, again, not saying that's bad at all, okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game. But, it's she's not going to go anywhere else. I mean, where's she going to go? Bellator? And, not dissing Invicta. I love Invicta. But Invicta with Ronda Rousey? Come on. All right? The world will know that Ronda Rousey retired undefeated, fighting for the biggest promotion on the whole planet, and then she'll go off into the sunset to do movies and stuff while everyone's talking shit about how Layla Ali should fight her and some other dumb shit about dudes fighting her too. All right, Ronda Rousey's a once in ever athlete. We're never gonna see another Ronda Rousey ever. All right, and I don't know how I got on the Ronda Rousey rant, but I'm really sick of these people that want to shit talk Ronda Rousey and get mad at me like you're a fanboy because you like Ronda Rousey. First of all, if you're a dude and you don't like Ronda Rousey, something's wrong with you. Okay, all right, and again, I'm such an asshole, but still, I will say it. Cyborg looks like Vanderlei Silva with a wig. I'm just gonna fucking say it. I don't care what anyone says. All right, fuck you, get mad at me. All right, you needed to be offended at that point. But the other thing too is recognize greatness. All right, if you hate somebody, it's because you're upset they beat someone that you liked. People hated Michael Jordan because he was that damn dominant, beating everybody's team. They hated on Michael Jordan. People hated Kobe Bryant, although they had a reason to. But a lot of people had a reason to. But people hate Kobe Bryant because he's so crazy. People hate LeBron James because no matter where he goes, he wins. He wins no matter where he goes. People hate greatness when they're not willing to accept that it's great. So people need to start realizing, and you started seeing it. All the hate that Ronda Rousey got after the Ultimate Fighter, it's starting to go away. All right. When she went to Brazil, people were cheering for Ronda Rousey when she's facing off against Bethe Correia. When she did the face-off after the press conference. You know why? Because Ronda Rousey's a legit good person. She actually donates money to judo schools in Brazil. All right, Ronda Rousey isn't fake. She's a great person who just happens to be a great athlete and the only athlete of her kind on this planet probably ever. And that's the end of my Ronda rant. There you go.
That's all right. I'll be honest with you. She won me over when she first came out, and with the whole UFC, the whole Ultimate Fighter. I really had a bad taste in my mouth when it came to Ronda Rousey. Not her as a fighter. She was always impressive, always, uh, you know, the way she is, you know, just undisputable, abilities that she shows. But I didn't like her as a person. I didn't like the whole, flipping off Misha and all that. It was kind of like, you know what? We saw Ken and Tito, finally shake hands and all that. Like when these guys at the end, so many fights at the end of the fight, when there was bad blood going in, these guys shake hands or, at least acknowledge each other, that it's over, it's buried. That kind of threw me off. But you know what? The more and more that we've gotten to know her, the more and more that we see of her, she's won me over. I'm actually a fan of hers now. But I do believe that she's gonna take care of Betch Correa, in crazy easy fashion. And it's not a diss on Betch. She's a good fighter, but just not at the same level. I am interested in seeing the fight with Cyborg, as is every other person on the planet. But now here's my question. Dana has said that Cyborg has a clear path to fight Rousey. Is 135 the first time she makes that weight? Is it against Ronda Rousey? Or does she have to do it once before?
You have to do it once before.
Then that's not a clear path.
Well, yeah, Dana White says, look, man. Yeah, Dana White says a lot of shit. He can say clear path, he can say mountain path, he can say goat path. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just whatever's gonna sell the fight is gonna happen. Okay, but if you set up a title fight between Cyborg and Ronda Rousey, and Cyborg comes in at 136, who's gonna look bad for signing her? The UFC. Dana White's gonna look bad for making the fight. All right, and look, I'm not saying that Cyborg's gonna miss weight by 1 pound if she misses. If Cyborg misses weight, she's missing by like 5 or 6 pounds for sure. For sure, that's how much she's gonna miss by if she misses. So, hell no, she's got to do it at least one time. And look, I'll say this about Betch Correa, and this is exactly how I'm going to do the analogy. And if you know basketball, I mean, great, you're going to get this. If you don't know basketball, I'm sorry, just bear with me. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, freaking half of the Hall of Fame in the NBA. The one reason they didn't get titles, Michael Jordan. Betch Correa is the Charles Barkley of women's MMA right now, okay? And she's about to run into the Michael Jordan of women's MMA and get screwed over with because just for the fact that the skill level is so different. Cyborg might be Patrick Ewing. I think she kind of looks like him a little bit. But still, maybe not height-wise, but her face is jacked. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. These are jokes, people. These are jokes. Anyway, that's just kind of what it is. If you're a female in the 135 division, I'm sorry. You're a great fighter and everything. You're just about to run into a greater, higher level athlete that just happens to be the only one of her kind ever. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see anybody be on the same level as Ronda Rousey, until she's long gone.
Okay, so if if Christine has to make 135 one time before she fights Ronda, who's she facing? Holly Holm?
Someone in Invicta, man. I don't think she fights in the UFC.
Misha?
Ooh, that would feel bad if she fought Misha. Because Misha is about as sloppy a striker as Cyborg is, but Cyborg is just so much stronger. You do want to give her someone that's gonna give her a fight, and you want to give her someone that's gonna hype up and kind of give an excuse-ish, to fight Ronda next. So maybe I don't think a Holly Holm. I don't think you want to ruin that contender for a future possible fight with Ronda or whoever the champion is at that point. But man, I'm thinking of names, and the only ones that I keep coming up with are maybe Miesha Tate. That sucks. That chick is a gatekeeper, and she's gonna get her face messed up. I mean, that's Charmaine tweet about all that, and so, man, that's hard to say. I'm sure there's a lot of girls out there that would be willing to take that fight. I know Jessica I would probably want to take that fight. She's just too crazy tough. I could see. I think in Invicta, let's say she stays on loan in Invicta, which is supposed to be the deal that she fights at the in Vegas, I think in June. And I'm talking about Cyborg. Maybe a Tanya Evinger, maybe I don't know who else you would give her, but let's be honest. Cyborg's fight is with the weight, not with a girl.
Right, but that's exactly my point where you said, um, you know, we have to see her in a fight that can kind of, you know, give justification why she's getting the next title shot. She's not going to do that by fighting a girl Invicta. And no, I'm not taking anything away from Invicta, but they're at that minor league level to many of the women's bantamweights in the UFC. So to me, she's got to fight somebody in the UFC that's you know ranked in the UFC. Right now, it's Ronda Rousey, Kat Zingano, Misha Tate, Alexis Davis, Sarah McMahon, Sarah Kaufman, Jessica Ai, Betch Correa, Amanda Nunes, Liz Carmouche, and Holly Holm round out the champion through rank 10, or the 10th ranked fighter in the women's bantamweight. She's got to fight somebody in the UFC ranked within the UFC's top 10 in order to justify getting that fight with Ronda following the fight with Betch. That's just my opinion. But I mean, that's opinions are like assholes. They say everybody's got one. But
unless you have a colostomy bag, then you don't have a reason to have an asshole.
Exactly. But that's just my thing. She's got to fight somebody who's in the, if not the top 5, definitely the top 10 of the women's bantamweight division in the UFC to justify getting that title shot with Ronda.
No, for sure. And I mean, hey, she's signed already, so, and the news is out. Might as well make that fight. But again, the battle's gonna be with the weight. So, look, if they're saying that she can make 135, maybe it's because they already had a test cut, or they're hoping, or whatever the hell. But they also gave, I think they gave Cyborg a nutritionist that's supposed to help her do that, because
that was the recommendation.
Yeah, because they can't give her Mike Dolce because Dolce works with Ronda. So yeah.
All right, so we're talking about Ronda making the weight, or excuse me, Christine making the weight. Let's talk about Brandon Schaub. He's going to be making weight in a new division as he's announced that he's going down to light heavyweight. When I brought this up to you prior to getting on the air, you said it's about time. So let's talk. Who's Brandon Schaub's first opponent in the light heavyweight division?
The scale, man. He's a big boy. He's not a fat guy whatsoever. Look, we're talking a former NFL player. He's an athlete all around, right? And the thing is, he had fights against heavyweights that they're just too damn skilled. So if you move down, you give him a little bit of an advantage with size, with the jiu-jitsu, and I think he keeps them, his speed. And the power, of course, he's going to have some. But, I mean, I don't know who he's going to face first. But I laughed when we were talking about that. I laughed a little bit because my first thought was another guy to throw at John Jones when everyone else that legitimately has a shot is done. And so, because John Jones is cleaning out that division. So, I don't know. Anytime I hear someone come into the light heavyweight division, my first thought was, well, how would they do against John Jones? And I think Brandon Schaub would get massacred. But I like Schaub, man. I didn't like him before he started doing the podcast with Brian Callen. I think it's called The Fighter and the Kid. Before he started doing that, I did not like Brandon Schaub. Once I got, you get to know him through that podcast a little bit. He's a good guy. He's a funny guy and everything. And you kind of, you wish the best for him. But this move down to 205 has been, it's been coming, and it finally is here, and he's gonna make that cut. But he does walk around at like 230 some or so it's gonna be a bit of a body change. I think you're gonna see him come in a lot leaner, and and I wonder how that weight cut's gonna affect him. But I'm assuming that chat with Joe Rogan on his podcast might have done a little something for Schaub to say, oh shit, let's just move down and figure out, because I can't handle with these heavyweights. But it depends on what his goal is too. Is he trying to be a champion? Because he wasn't gonna beat Kane. Couldn't beat Travis Brown. He wasn't gonna beat Verdun. And I don't think he could beat. I think he for example, you put Brandon Schaub against like a Ryan Bader. That would be a good fight for Schaub. Because I think he could take. Not that he couldn't take down. Not that he could take down Ryan Bader, but I think he could submit Ryan Bader because Schaub's jiu-jitsu is sick for a heavyweight. Unless you put him in Metamoris, which all he does is run away from his opponent. So unfortunately, Schaub is just like. He's just there. He's just that. And again, I'm not hating on Shaw, but he's just that lovable idiot that you just
All right,
can't
so
hate.
let's do a quick game here. Word association. I'm going to say a name. You tell me win or lose. All right, meaning Brandon Schaub against this fighter, Dan Henderson,
Win.
Patrick Cummins.
Lose.
So right there, you have him ranked 14th because Patrick Cummins is the 14th ranked fighter in the light heavyweight division. One fighter, you made it through one fighter in the top 15 before you said Schaub's going to lose. But just for argument's sake, let's go a little bit further because obviously, like we said, the rankings are just there. Fabio Maldonado.
Win.
Okay, he's ranked 13th. Antonio Rogerio Nogueira.
Win. I think Nogueira's done, but that's just me. And again, I don't think he would fight him because he's a big fan of Nogueira. But yeah, win. I think Schaub wins that.
Cavalcanti.
Win.
Shogun.
Ooh. I'm gonna say lose on that one.
Okay.
I think Shogun's
Jimmy Manawa.
Who?
Manawa.
Ooh, I think Schaub gets knocked out somehow.
OSP.
I'm gonna give that one to Schaub.
Okay. Phil Davis.
Phil Davis, man. I think that dude's wrestling is insane.
Teixeira. Glover Teixeira.
That's a fight I want to see. Glover Teixeira against Brandon Schaub. Give Brandon Schaub a striker he could take down and see if he can submit him. I say, you know what? I say Schaub avoids the striking, but if he gets caught, he's going to sleep. So, but I'm gonna say Schaub.
Okay. Bader.
See, that's the one I want to see too. Damn it. Shit. Because I don't. If you take Brandon Schaub down, that's fine. He wants to be on the ground with some jiu-jitsu. If you stay standing up with Ryan Bader hasn't shown a whole lot of awesome striking in his recently. So I'm gonna go with Schaub on that one in a very close upset.
All right. Rashad Evans.
Busted knees, a little older, probably shouldn't be fighting anymore. But I'd say Rashad Evans finds a way to win it. I think that dude's just too experienced and too good.
Daniel Cormier.
Come on now. DC all day.
Gustafson.
Ooh. See, that'd be interesting to see because that's the same size. He's taller than Travis Brown. Might not have the best striking around, but he's just the size and the reach advantage would mess with Shaw. But Gustafson beats him.
Johnson.
Knockout Johnson wins.
Jones.
Can you bury someone 6 feet under before they die, like legally? Because that's
right,
I mean, so you might as well just cave in the freaking canvas and just throw Schaub in there before the fight even starts.
So from the champion to 15, there's 16 fighters, obviously. You have him losing to 9 out of those 16 fighters. You only have him beating 7 of them. So if his goal is to make a run at the title, do you really see that as a viable option, having to go through the names that are in the top 15 right now, including the champion at John Jones?
No, because look, John Jones would destroy him and everything, but let's say John Jones moved up to heavyweight. That light heavyweight division is wide open for anybody. And at that point, you know, motivation, knowing that the division killer is gone, might help Shaw, you know, bust his ass to kind of get in there. But you know, again, the beating Henderson, that's just on age, man. Henderson is done. All right, he can throw the H-bomb all he wants to. If that's all you got to dodge, you know, all I do if I'm Shaw is try to take him down and submit him, you know, or let himself get taken down and submit him off his back. Who else did I say he beats? Cavalcante. I think the jiu-jitsu's there. That'd be a fun match to watch, actually. Fabio Maldonado, I don't know why he's still fighting. The one that I was a little weird about was Rashad Evans, just based on the knee injuries and everything, and the age factor. But you know, I have to see Schaub against a lower level 205er for sure before we decide to see who he could beat. But I don't know, man. It's an interesting move. I'll say that much. And I want to see him or hear him on Rogan's podcast again to see if to see what Joe Rogan thinks about that. And I'm sure someone will ask him on the next podcast. So I'm definitely gonna be listening in.
Oh, I'm sure. But and the whole thing with he's not making a run in the heavyweight division, obviously. If Anthony Johnson knocks out or beats John Jones, I can see Jones making that leap to heavyweight at that point because the title's gone, and he's free to move around with a little bit more, not having to worry about the belt and all that. But Johnson could very well turn out to be, the next division killer, where he just runs the table, But with Brendan Schaub and his previous fight experience, his previous fight wins, losses, record, this to me seems like just a place for him to go. So he's avoiding some of the bigger hitters in mixed martial arts. But like I said, I don't see him. I could see him making maybe rank somewhere 5 to 10, but not going any further and just kind of sitting there for 3 or 4 fights until he decides that he's had enough and it's done. So it's curious to me what he's looking for out of this move, what his goals are with this move, kind of like what you said. Is he just doing it just to do it? Is he doing it to try to make a legit title run? But either way, I don't see it really happening. I see this being, just a move out of a place where he's been taking crazy damage to a place where he's possibly going to inflict more than he's going to take. But, that's really all I see here from Brendan Schaub moving to light heavyweight.
Yeah, look, if he actually legitimately goes through with his move, he has to improve in striking completely. You heard, I'm pretty sure you heard the podcast with Rogan, tore him a new one in the nicest way possible. He said everything. Your footwork's dog shit. Your striking's basically dog shit. You seem a little afraid. You don't have the speed. You have the jiu-jitsu, but that's kind of it. He's got to improve. And look, I think he should do what Rogan said: take a year or 2 off and just work on that striking, like till you get it down, and then come back and take on some guys. But if he doesn't improve that striking, man, he's gonna last maybe 2 fights in 205 and either get cut or decide he had enough and just make his money off podcasting and doing the UFC Tonights and all, or whatever they call those now. Doing the TV thing, because he's a funny guy. He's a charming dude. So I think he should go make his money elsewhere. But if he wants to continue fighting, he's got to improve that striking for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? He's talented doing that too. He's got the podcast. He's talented. He's on the UFC Tonight. He sounds educated. He sounds knowledgeable. He explains things well. This is definitely a career that he should look into. If not just down the road, but even now, because like I said, I really feel like this move is just to avoid taking some of the bigger beatings that are out there. But I don't think it's going to save him too much. But we're gonna wrap this up. We gotta get you out of here real quick, or shortly. So let's touch on last night's event. Bellator, I believe it was 135. 135. That shows you where I was paying attention. And the last fight of the night, obviously the headline fight was Galvo facing Joe Warren, and the fight ended with a knee bar. Not that Joe Warren physically tapped to, but he let out a yelp, a scream, whatever you want to call it, and Big John stepped in and ended the fight. And he kind of, Joe Warren complained about it a little bit, but it was a verbal tap. So let's talk about verbal taps and should they be used in mixed martial arts, and then we'll touch on the results from the card itself.
All right. So first of all, Bellator's still fucking up. They want to go ahead and keep putting that stupid stamp on the corner that says Bellator Live or whatever dog shit they're doing. And look, the reason I sound angry is because it's dumb to say it's live and only show it live on the East Coast, and I got to wait 3 hours to watch it on the West Coast. So, it's incredibly ridiculous, in my opinion, that he does that. So, or that they do that. At the same time, let's talk about I was able to find a stream, and so I was able to actually just catch the main event. In the first round, they actually took each other down pretty quickly. Like Joe Warren did what Joe Warren does, is take some dudes down hard, and Galvo was able to get up pretty damn quick, and then he took Joe Warren down. The first round was pretty damn close in my opinion. The second round, man, Joe Warren just got caught, right? So when he gets a knee bar and he's extending it, he tries to extend it one time. I think he couldn't find the exact angle he needed, and then Galvo finally finds it. And when he yanked on that knee bar, man, Galvo's face was like It's like, man, it's like the willingness to fight to survive something. It's like he felt like he was dying and he was fighting to live. That's how hard he was yanking that thing. But when he pulled it the second time, Warren, he screamed. It wasn't a yelp. It wasn't a it hurts. It was a freaking scream. And before the fight, Joe Warren was told by McCarthy. McCarthy says this, that in the rules, if he screams, that's a verbal tap. You know why? Because the next step after that scream is snaps and more screaming and a blown out knee and ligaments everywhere. You know, so that was to save him from himself. Joe Warren would have probably kept going and just let his knee get destroyed, and he would have lost anyway. If anything, Joe Warren should be happy that McCarthy stopped the fight so his knee's not destroyed and he might be able to fight sometime soon. But I did not like how Joe Warren came out and was such a sore loser, man. He, after Jimmy Smith interviewed Galvo, and Warren was like, oh, I didn't tap. I'm still the baddest man in the planet. That's still my belt. Like, dude, you got to come out gracefully, right? If you want to call yourself a champion, that's your belt and all that crap. You gotta be humble, right? That's not a way a former champ is supposed to act. So I think you look great for Galvo, man. If you know that guy's story, he promised his mother on her deathbed that he was going to be a world champion, and now he came through with that. And so you gotta feel really good for Galvo. But Joe Warren, man, just he made himself look look really, really bad. And I kept saying last night on Twitter, I said that part of it has to be the fact that Joe Warren was talking a lot of shit before the fight, and then to go out and get submitted was pretty embarrassing. And so, wow, the yawns are getting me, dude. Anyway, now I'm lost. Anyway, but Joe Warren, it sucks to see a former champion, go, act like that. But as far as the rule itself, the verbal tap thing, I agree with it completely. Because again, what's the next step? Your knee gets blown out. Sweet. Then you keep screaming some more, and you don't get to walk out of there. All right. If first of all, if you ever done jiu-jitsu, if someone puts you in a heel hook or a knee bar or something, and you're one of those idiots that doesn't want to tap, you're an idiot. Have fun not walking around for a long time, because that sucks. Okay. If I ever get put in a knee bar or a heel hook, I tap even before I feel it, because I know that shit is coming. I'm not trying to not walk home, right? So, it depends on what Joe Warren wanted to do. If he wanted to go out and get his knee blown out on his shield, whatever. But if I was him, I'd be sending a nice little thank you letter to Big John McCarthy, maybe some flowers for his wife, and thanks for letting me walk out of that cage.
Yeah, and, the whole thing, Joe Warren, that's his persona, that's his whatever. He comes across as a total douchebag. Everybody knows it. Everybody, that's the thing. But, you gotta, like you said, you have to be graceful, look at Drew Dober. Look no further than Drew Dober. Didn't tap, didn't scream, didn't pass out, didn't do a fucking thing. But yeah, he was like, hey, I didn't tap, but hey, if you guys want me back, I'll come back. Like, he didn't sit there and say that this ref is an asshole. He handled it gracefully. He handled it, like a champion, for lack of a better word. So, Joe Warren could definitely learn something from that. But think of past UFC events. Think of Frank Mir and Nogueira when he snapped Nogueira's arm and the ref stepped in. There was no verbal scream. There was no verbal tap. But you know what? The ref stepped in and said, you're injured. This fight is over. You know what? This is exactly what that verbal scream is, that verbal tap. Is to prevent something like that from happening. So as a fighter, you need to understand the rules. You need to know what's happening in that cage at all times, and you need to know what constitutes a tap. Him complaining about this is just dumb. But you're gonna have to help me with some of the names here, because they're definitely ones that I can't say. But Gio Pacquiao beats the hell out of me. Defeated J.P. Cole via submission armbar, round 1. Clayton Mai defeated Xavier Seiler, submission rear naked choke. Steven Banaszak defeated Brad Mitchell via omoplata submission, round 2. Neil Ewing defeated Logan Neal via unanimous decision. Sean Holden defeated Tim Roman by unanimous decision. Rashad Coulter defeated Jeremiah O'Neal via TKO, and Emmanuel Sanchez defeated Alejandro Villalobos via unanimous decision for the undercard of last night's event. Moving to the main card, Ryan Couture defeated Dakota Cochran via rear naked choke submission midway through round 1. Francis Carmona defeated Guillermo Viana by unanimous decision. LC Davis defeated Hideo Takoro, defeated by split decision. And, of course, as we just touched on, Marcus Calvo, who became the new champ, defeating Joe Warren by verbal submission, round 2, 45 seconds in, due to a knee bar. So, hopefully, there was a lot of good finishes on the card last night. Hopefully.
Did you see LC Davis's mouth?
Oh, dude.
Holy shit.
How do you... That's a dental, but whoever this guy's mouthpiece maker was needs to seriously decide whether or not that's the business they want to continue being in. Because his mouth guard obviously did not a fucking thing.
Nothing. Those teeth were almost pulled out of his mouth. It was just so gross to see. I saw the picture this morning. I freaked out for a second. I was like, "Holy fuck! Why would you do that?" And hey, look, he went out with a smile. I'll tell you that, even though his teeth were all fucked up. But still, yeah, I don't know who made this mouthpiece, but yeah, they need to rethink their design there.
Yeah, how funny is that he would, it was all smiles like that too last night, with, he talking and everything like that. It's pretty crazy. But let me just see something here.
Oh, God.
Where the frick did it go? Middle Easy has this picture up, obviously, if, I don't know why it's doing that, but...
There it is.
If you can see it there, oh, shit.
There you
this
go.
computer is, like, done. If anybody wants to donate a new computer to me, feel free to sign in. But, hey, if you're viewing, if you're one of the people watching right now live, or if you're watching this later, this is LC Davis's mouth. This is a disaster when it comes to, mouth guards and mouth protection. They need to really work on their business plan, if that's what they plan on doing for the future, because that was just horrible. But yeah. Like I was starting to say, there was some good fights and good finishes on that card last night. Some exciting things to watch there. Bellator is definitely picking up in terms of some of their excitement level. But yeah, they do need to stop with the whole live thing when they're not live. As far as I know, the World Series of Fighting will actually be broadcasting live, and will be live on all three, in all time zones at the same time. So, and are they on Spike? Is that where they're being shown?
You know what? I probably should have found out before we even came on the show. But what do they do? I know the prelims are normally online. You can check out their website for that link.
Spike just signed another fight organization that they were going to be broadcasting with. I'm trying to remember who it was. I thought it might have been them, but
it wasn't Glory, wasn't it?
Oh no, it was Bama. Bama is going to be.
That's you know what? That's a good one. That's a fucking good one, dude. They should pick. It's about time they get picked up by somebody. But,
yeah, that's who it was.
Okay, here it is. The prelims are going to be online. The main card starts, I think it's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 9 p.m. your time. It's going to be on NBC Sports Network. So World Series of Fighting, NBC Sports Network. So yeah, you can definitely watch that on TV if you got cable and all that. And of course, follow me on ELaw31 for coverage of that event. That is going to be awesome. And by the way, nice little jab from Andrew Reed, one of our listeners here, says that maybe it was a Kmart mouth guard. It's possible. It's very possible. Yeah. But World Series of Fighting, definitely tune in for this. A lot of good prospects coming up. just off the top of my head, Clifford Starks, who trains over at, I think he still trains over at Combat Sports in Tempe. Who else is on there? In the co-main event, I'm honestly I'm more excited for the co-main event. I like Justin Gaethje as much as the next guy, but I like the co-main event because it's nostalgia. It's the Thiago Silva against Matt Hamill. Does Matt Hamill still have it? Matt Hamill said not too long ago that the reason he's had a couple retirements is because of bad management, which is weird, but whatever. And Thiago Silva, after all the trouble he's been through, he's supposed to fight Ronnie Marks. Marks got hurt, I believe, and so now they're making the Hamill Silva fight. Or it might have been the other way. I mean, whoever was fighting Hamill might have gotten hurt. I don't remember. And then the main event, Justin Gaethje, who is a fun guy to watch, taking on Palomino, who's a striker. That main event is going to be bomb. So for sure, tune in. For sure, follow me on Twitter at Elo31 for play-by-play and to shoot the shit during the fight. Even though for sure I'm gonna be watching the whole thing, but I don't know, man. I'm excited, man, for sure, and I just love going to fights live.
Yeah, no doubt. But besides that, you got anything else for today, or are we gonna wrap this one up here?
Man, go to crossbonesmma.com. I just put up, I think yesterday, an interview with women's MMA fighter Florina Moeller. If you want to hear one of the, I'm not saying the weird is the wrong word. One of the most unique stories of a fighter. Florina is a computer programmer that fights, right? Like, she does Java, C++, all that stuff, and then she gets in a cage and throws down. So crossbonesmma.com, the article's up on there. Make sure you check that out. You can follow Florina on Twitter at Florina Cuddles. Cuddles is her nickname, believe it or not. It's Florina Cuddles. And so if you put the app before that for Twitter, follow her for sure. And a lot of interviews coming up sometime soon, hopefully. Yeah, it's kind of all I got. And then, of course, Bad Decisions on Monday. And, yeah, I think that's all I got, man.
All right. As always, you can follow the station here. It's Crossbones MMA at Crossbones MMA. You can follow me at MMA John G. Eddie is at Elaw31. Nick, who's on our Wednesday show, is at NickXMicro, and our lead writer is at CBMMA_Don. You can find our shows on iTunes and Stitcher by looking up and searching Crossbones MMA Radio in their search boxes. Make sure you go to crossbonesmma.com for all the latest news, for all updates on all the different live events. Check out the store and affiliate page for F3 Foods, Amazon.com, and Troxafin.com as well. But for Eddie, for Crossbones MMA, and everybody here, I'm John, just saying, don't just have a great day, make it one. Take it easy.
Later.